so much. Thank you. Have a seat. Have a seat. Thank you so much. Ma'am, you sat down so fast in your cute top. You're supposed to stand up longer when you have a cute shirt on. Welcome to the show. So blessed to have you in the audience today, and thank you for watching wherever you are. This show, we are live, and I'm going to be honest with you. I actually told the team earlier I wasn't feeling well because this show really impacts so many people, and it is important for us to have this conversation today, and we're having it live. Here's the deal. Imagine visiting your doctor. You are terrified, you're in pain, you're tired to the point you can barely get out of bed, only to leave that doctor's appointment feeling dismissed, being told it's in your head. It's called medical gaslighting, and for women especially, it is an epidemic, and the consequences could be deadly. Over the past few years, it's a topic which is all over social media. Look up the hashtag medical gaslighting after the show, not right now because we're talking. 300 million views on TikTok alone. We've been talking about this season after season. In fact, we have had on this show somewhere around 900 episodes. One of our highest rated ever was medical gaslighting. So many women, so many people reached out to us after this season 3. This beautiful woman here had a leakage coming from her brain. Doctors told her it was all in her head. We've had a beautiful woman on our show who texted her doctor after taking an at-home test to see if she had colon cancer. He replied with a smiley face and told her it was okay. She was diagnosed with cancer. This is an intense show, and Sharon Stone, Halle Berry, Selma Blair are all people revealing how they felt gaslit by doctors. They, you might say, are wealthy, they are famous, they have access, but they all say they experience the same thing. Doctors not listening. Our first guest is the latest to speak out publicly about her story. New York Times bestselling author, People's Choice nominated podcaster, 3-time Emmy-winning host of E! News, Keltie Knight, says medical gaslighting kept her suffering in silence for almost a decade of her life. Take a look. For the past 2 decades, Keltie Knight has interviewed some of the biggest stars in the world, covering everything from the Oscars to the Grammys, then hosting her Lady Gang podcast.
I mean, she was fierce. Thank you. You know what I mean?
Earlier this year, Keltie Knight's career reached new heights when she landed her dream job of co-hosting E! News.
Welcome to E! News. I'm Keltie Knight.
In front of the camera, Keltie's vibrant personality was on display, but behind the scenes, she was dealing with what she calls mind-numbing fatigue, dizziness, blurry vision, hair loss, aching joints, and debilitating menstrual cycles.
Usually when something is shiny and fabulous behind the scenes, there's usually something else going on.
For 10 years, Keltie saw doctor after doctor, 15 in total, trying to get answers. She was told she was just working too hard and was even misdiagnosed.
We get gaslit by medical people, and they're like, oh, it's chronic fatigue syndrome. I would still be just nowhere closer to health if I had believed that.
Last year, Keltie finally got a diagnosis.
I suffer from a chronic condition called microcyclic anemia.
2 weeks into her new role at E! News came the shocking announcement live on air.
I found out last month that I will need to undergo a hysterectomy tomorrow. And as a woman, it is so critical for me to share this with all of you.
Keltie had her hysterectomy March 19th, and she's documented every step of the journey.
I'm 3 weeks post-op from a hysterectomy, and I feel absolutely terrible.
Honestly, this hysterectomy has made me very emotional. I could cry right now. I'm so happy. Anyway, I feel happy and sad, and I have empathy, and I'm just like, it's just like, kumbaya.
Her mission is to draw attention to medical gaslighting and to encourage other women to advocate for their own health. Keltie joins us from Los Angeles. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have to tell the audience, we don't do a lot of Zooms. I like for our guests to be in the room with us, but this was so important, and I know you have to work and you're in Los Angeles. I said to the team, whatever way we can get her on, let's get her on. This started our conversation. I was in LA promoting the show. We learned on your show that we were nominated for 2 Emmys for host and the show. We're like, You know, we were in this celebratory mood, and then in the commercial break, you said, Tamron, I've been on this medical journey. And at, how old are you now?
42.
42. I've had a hysterectomy. And we just started talking. You've been so open. What's driving you to be so open about this?
I think it's people like you who empower women to tell their stories even when they're hard. I've always looked up to you, Tamron. Obviously, I'm part of the Tam fam, but knowing that I have learned so much over the past 10 years and wanting all women to understand that they're not crazy, that they're not liars, that their symptoms are real, and they have to keep fighting for their health until they find help. Wow. That is my mission.
Yes. Going back to your condition, I mean, to your point, so many women, especially, are told it's in your head. You were losing your hair. You started developing welts on your body. You couldn't walk upstairs. You couldn't read the teleprompter. There's no way that's in your head. But doctors made you feel that way.
Every time I went to the doctor, Tamron, I knew that I couldn't see the teleprompter at work. I was memorizing my scripts before I went out there. And every time I went to the doctor, I would get the same thoughts. Well, are you eating enough vegetables? Well, are you drinking enough water? Oh, well, you know, you just work too hard. Maybe if you meditate more, you will feel better. And it really felt like it was my fault, and I took that to heart. I was like, oh, well, this is my fault, because you're right. I had a latte this morning instead of a green juice. So obviously, this rash I have over 75% of my body is something I did to myself. And then I felt shame that, oh my God, I'm so bad at being a woman that I'm hurting myself. And I tried so hard to fix these things that they were saying. I was drinking water, I was drinking the green juice, nothing helped. So I felt crazy.
And you went to 15 doctors, and keep in mind, each doctor you go to asks who you saw before. So if they are skeptical, when you say, I've been to 6 doctors, they're going, oh, one of those. One of those. You've been to so many doctors, you're not getting the answer you want, so you keep looking for doctors versus what are you missing? And I'm so sensitive about this story because I hosted for 2 years big events involving women diagnosed with lupus. And that's one of those illnesses that often you are told it's in your head, it's nothing there. With this anemia that you have, imagine you'd never heard of it. Once you get the diagnosis, what does that mentally feel like for the weight of that?
I mean, I just was so desperate that I had said to my girlfriend, I cannot get out of bed. What is wrong with me? And she said, you know, there's this kind of hoobie-jooby guy that a lot of the Malibu Hollywood stars go to. Try him. And I was like,
she said
okay,
it like
well,
that, Kelty, a hoobie-jooby guy?
Yeah, like you were like, you know, it's like, this is going to be a little weird, you know. And I said, okay. And I went, and the blood work panel was like 60 pages. I'd never seen something so thorough before. And when I went for my follow-up, he looked me in the eye and he said, you are very unwell. I will make you well. It's going to take a year. And I just started bawling. It was the first time a doctor had looked me in the eye and said, you are valid in feeling this way. And that is when we started the process of doing the work, getting to the bottom of this, because there's a really interesting sort of backstory that's a little intense with what I have, but I have this type of anemia, and the thing when you see anemia on blood work, what doctors do is they throw iron pills at you. What we didn't realize is that I am highly allergic to bovine, which is what is in iron pills. So I'm eating the iron pills, trying to get my iron up every day, and then I am completely blowing out my body with this high inflammation from being allergic to the thing that I'm taking every day. I was poisoning myself.
Wow, coming up
and
more.
A doctor told me to take